Let's talk about the best mods for your FK8 Civic Type R. So for those of you who are new to the channel, thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about the best mods for your FK8 Civic Type R. I've got a Honda Civic Type R. I've got a lot of work done to it if you've been following along. If you haven't, where have you been? So I realize there are a lot of different modders out there. There are three primary different types of modders out there. The guy that's going to be doing it for looks, the other guy that just wants a little more sound, a little more performance out of his car, and the track guy, which is primarily how I've modded my car. Today we're going to talk about the best mods, in my opinion, for each type of modder. Let's talk about the most common modder there is, and that is the daily driver, what most of us either started as or what most of us are doing right now. The guy that's just looking for a little more power, maybe a little more looks out of the car, and just wants to enjoy it and be an enthusiast. So here are my top 3 mods for that type of modder. Number 1 on the list, wheels and tires. This is a classic mod for anybody who's an enthusiast. Doesn't matter if you drive domestic, import, European. Wheels and tires are one of the easiest ways to change the entire look of your car. You can go anything from cast to full forged wheels, 3-piece, 2-piece. Number 2 on the list, exhaust. Exhaust is such a personal preference. And while I have the Remus exhaust on my car and it's been absolutely fantastic, there are a lot of great choices out on the market. I like the sound of my Remus exhaust. It has a lot of adjustability to it, which makes it very useful for me, especially since I track my car. Some tracks have sound limitations, so that's important for me. But for you as a daily driver enthusiast, you might prefer something that sounds a little different. A lot of other great exhausts out there. Some of the other ones are HKS, Borla exhaust, which still gives you some adjustability with a manually installed plate, or go crazy with the J's Racing exhaust, full titanium, one of the lightest on the market. It sounds incredible, but it is going to be loud. Another popular mod on the list, and one of my favorites for all 3 categories, is the intake. There aren't that many intakes on the market that actually make an appreciable difference horsepower and torque wise over the stock airbox, but the PRL high volume intake absolutely takes you there. It not only looks great, but it's going to increase your power. It will smooth out that power band and the torque curve. It's an excellent addition to any FK8 project, but it is one of the best sounding intakes on the market. If you like that induction noise and that turbo spoolie sound, absolutely going to get it with this intake. Having said that, there are some other great choices out on the market. If you really want to go crazy, you can go for the Venturi intake, which is, I don't even remember the price point, but it's well over $1,000. If you're that guy, you're probably going to use that more for the show type guy, but I know a lot of people who are using it for their daily drivers too, so more power to you. But that's a really nice intake as well. Mishimoto and some other manufacturers make some intake as well, but be careful when you're choosing some of those other ones. If you're going for extra power and not just sound, you may want to look into the specs, do some research, read on the forums, look online, watch YouTube videos, and see which intake is going to be best for you. Now we move on to the show guy mods. I'm going to try my best not to repeat some of these mods as they do apply to all 3 categories. I think what I can safely tell you is everything that I mentioned for the daily driver guy can also be applied to the show guy and the track guy. So anything moving forward past this will be just in addition to. Here are my top 3 mods for the show guy. Absolutely one of the most showy things that you can do to add on top of the crazy design that is the FK8 Type R is Aftermarket Aero. Aftermarket Aero is a way to individualize your car, especially for shows. There's a lot of manufacturers out there making aero bits for the Civic Type R. When it comes to hoods, splitters, wings, there's a lot of different choices. Some of it is more functional than others, but if you're that show guy, you're just going for the look. I've personally gone for more of the simplistic, functional look for aero, as I'm mainly the track guy, but there's a lot of other manufacturers out there who are making some really nice pieces. Varus is a JDM company that makes some really nice aero bits for the Civic Type R. A little pricey, but really high quality stuff. Spoon, EVS, to name a few, are other companies who are making some really nice aero bits for the Civic Type R. Just like wheels and tires and the exhaust, this is a very individual thing. The second mod for the show car guy, I've kind of lumped in 2 different categories in one, but shiny bits under the hood. Inlet pipe, strut tower bar, oil cap, these are all things that are very common for the show car guy. It really dresses up your engine bay. Other little things that you could do are different color bolts that replace the factory bolt under the hood. I know Dress Up Bolts has a nice kit for the Civic Type R. I don't personally have that on my vehicle, as mine is for a different purpose. But if you're looking for that bling under the hood, these are great options for you. You could even jazz up some of those pieces with a little gold wrap. I did it for temperature reasons, to keep some of the temperatures under control under the hood, but it's a great way to add a little more pop to things like inlet pipe, intake pipe, any pipe that you can wrap under the hood. Strut tower bars, as I mentioned in one of my other previous videos, are a great way to jazz up the look under your hood. It's arguable whether they're functional or not. It really depends on the car and the design of the strut bar, but it's a good way to add some pop to your engine bay. And one of my absolute favorite type of mods for the show guy, or even any type of modder, because we spend so much time in it, is the interior. Jazzing up your interior with a nice shift knob or some Suede products is an excellent way to make your interior feel more premium. The particular company I buy all my products from is Suede. What's great about Suede is you can pick and choose exactly the spec you want for the piece you want to replace in your car, and even if it's something that they haven't yet done, you can send them the factory OEM piece, have them wrap it for you, and they'll send it right back. It is such a great way to customize the interior for exactly what you're looking for. And last but certainly not least, the track guy. What mods do I think are best for the track guy? Well, if you're out there chasing fractions of a second like I am, everything that I mentioned so far is important. But beyond that, especially in the FK8 Civic Type R, if you're chasing after times, you're going to be generating a lot of heat. And the most important mod that I can recommend for your FK8 Civic Type R, if you're that track guy, is cooling mods. Now, there's far too many cooling mods to go over, but what I can tell you is, if you track diligently, and this is something you plan on doing as often as possible, I can't recommend getting the appropriate cooling mods you need for your car. Especially if you're running on a tune, you're going to be generating more heat than even the factory Type R engine would. Cooling mods become that much more important. Just to name a few of them that I have on my personal vehicle: oil cooler, intercooler, wrapped downpipe, wrapped front pipe, wrapped inlet pipe, turbo blanket, fog light delete. The list goes on and on. Forgive me for lumping that all into one. Run back through my videos. There's a lot of cooling mods that have been done to the car. Another track guy mod, which absolutely could be applied to the other 2 types of modders as well, is a tune. And by tune, what I mean is unlocking your ECU and running a base map from a reputable company who's done a lot of research to tune the Honda Civic Type R. Two of them come to mind, K-Tuner and Hondata. I started with K-Tuner and now I've moved on to Hondata. If you don't know why and you're curious to find out, check out my other videos. Either company is really good, just depending on what your needs are. Both will suit your needs just fine. And don't take any of the suggestions that I'm giving you guys as the end-all be-all. You can absolutely interchange any of these mods no matter what type of guy that you are or gal. Whether you're looking for a look, a little more performance out of your car, or you're the weekend warrior at the track as often as you can go, chasing tenths of a second like I am, any and all of these mods can be a great mod for you. And last but certainly not least, one of the best mods for the track guy is brake cooling. I've personally gone through a couple of different iterations. I've gone through 2 stock calipers, and now I'm on a full AP Racing 6-pot caliper brake kit for the Civic Type R. It is a slightly larger disc. It's all out. This is as nice a kit as you can get for the Civic Type R. You don't have to go that far to track your car. What is important to note about your brakes is limiting how much heat it generates and how well the system dissipates heat when you're on the track. The first thing you'll want to address is a brake pad. The factory brake pad is absolutely not up to the task of tracking the car. If you try doing it, you'd be good for maybe a couple of laps and you'll overheat the pad and you'll start having brake fade and bad things will start happening. There's a lot of great compounds out there for the factory brake calipers. WinMax W5 is a compound that I used for a little while before I switched to the AP Racing brake kit. Ray Bessis has some options. Throttle has some great options. Each pad has a different characteristic, so read through the characteristics, talk to guys on forums, watch YouTube videos. I can't recommend these things enough when you're doing your research. Figure out what pad is going to be best for your uses, try it out, and brake pads are consumable, so if the first one didn't work out for you, once you wear through that, you can always try the next one. The other brake mod that is equally as important is the brake fluid. Factory brake fluid will reach a boiling point much quicker than the DOT rated brake fluid. I highly recommend you go with something that's more built for the racetrack. Castrol SRF is a great daily driving brake fluid that can handle just about anything that you want to throw at it on track. The Endless RF 650 brake fluid is another great choice, which is what I've got in my car right now. I really love the firm pedal feel that it gives you and the confidence that it gives me on track. I know it's going to be at a good operating temperature no matter how hard I push my brakes. There are other choices out there, just like wheels and tires, just like everything else I've mentioned in the video. So do your research, find out what's going to work best for you, and go from there. And that's really it, guys. Modifying your car can be so much fun. It's a great way to express yourself. It's a great way to enjoy your vehicle no matter what level of modder you might be. Doesn't matter if you're doing it just for fun, just to add a little more enjoyment to your daily drive, or if you're doing it for shows, or if you're doing it for track. It's a fun way to enjoy your car and I highly recommend it. I hope some of these suggestions today were helpful to you. I try my best to answer all of your questions. I read every single comment on my YouTube channel. So if you have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to reach out. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope this was informative to you. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps this video fit well into the YouTube algorithm and get out to more enthusiasts just like you who are watching my video today. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay hungry, stay fast, stay tuned. I'm Michael Baxi, and I'm out.
Okay, I've been working like 3 jobs. Probably why I never see ya. Probably why I never have time for the fake friends I won't be ya. Oh God, I've been running now. Up early when the sun is out. Not setting out my own.